Jasmine and Joe's parents paid, and Janet are remarried. So this boy, so the new baby is gonna have four sets of grandparents, all very different.
Good morning. I'll play music today for you that's related to spring and spring awakening. For prelude, I play Norwegian composer Kjerulf Spring Song. For offertory, Ukrainian Spring Dance. And for postlude, Butterfly by Norwegian composer Grieg.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter how you woke up, we welcome you this morning to our service. Welcome to another Sunday of learning, growing, sharing, and caring together. Welcome to April, the month of awakening. What does that word conjure for you? Our chalice lighting words this morning are by Carolyn McTeague. Here in the refuge of this Sabbath home, we turn our busy minds towards silence. We move together through the mysteries, the bright surprise of birth, and the shadowed questions of death. In our slow walk between the two, we will be wounded and we will be showered with grace. Amazing, unending. Even in our sorrows, we feel our lives cradled in a holiness we cannot comprehend. Our call to worship this morning is Awaken to This Gift by Gretchen Haley. Open the doors of your hesitant heart. Let the light shine on all the sleeping shadows. Awaken to this day that offers itself to you and to all with great extravagance. Awaken to this gift, this beauty, this chance, that we might still begin again and anew, that we might be changed by the in and out of breath, that we might still burst forth like the crocuses, that we might still surprise this earth with a new song, sung together, calling us all in, and then sending us back out, and know it all to be a blessing. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is Blue Boat Home, and feel free to stand and move to the music if you desire. I think I'm going to today. And here we are together, still on our blue boat. Our hearts are full this morning. We have a nursery. It is not yet filled, but we have built it and they will come. Our hearts call out for peace. how we yearn for peace. Our hearts burn with the fierce desire for the forces of life to be stronger than the forces of destruction, for love to overcome fear. You join me in a meditation or prayer as we lift our hearts in a prayer for peace. Spirit of life, great universe, may we let go of our preconceived ideas. May we more and more see the world as it is in all its pain and beauty. May we see what is, may we see a way, even just one way, to bring more peace into this world today. May the earth know peace. May the nations beat their swords into plowshares and study war no more. May our communities work together for the common good. May we know peace in our cities, in our schools, in our theaters, in our seats of government. May the peaceful transfer of power, the cornerstone of our democracy, be preserved as a legacy for future generations. Spirit of life, may we be peaceful in our hearts. May we be peacemakers. Blessed be the peacemakers. May we awaken to the many opportunities to choose love, to honor the worth and dignity of all beings, to be honest and vulnerable, and to see each other over and over again with new eyes. We pray for peace. Amen. Ashe. And blessed be. Our story for the ages is recorded. It is The Empty Cup.
Let me tell you about the empty cup. There once was a very wise and revered teacher whose students came from all over the land to learn, to grow. One day, a very important person decided that she would study with this teacher in case there was something more that she could learn as well. So she traveled to the teacher's home, sat down, and presented herself. You've probably heard of me. You probably know about my accomplishments and all the things that I've done and my reputation as a very important person. The teacher began by offering a cup of tea. Gratefully, the VIP accepted. When the tea was ready, the teacher set it on the table and began to pour. At 3/4 of a cup, the VIP said, "That'll be enough, thank you." Yet the teacher continued to pour. When the cup was full, the new student said, "Please, that's enough, thank you." The teacher continued to pour and the tea began to spill over onto the table, hot tea in her lap. And she said, "Enough, what are you doing? Why are you continuing to pour this tea? I said that's enough." The teacher calmly continued to pour and said, "I would love to teach you. It would be my great pleasure. But I'm afraid you are too much like this overflowing cup. In order for you to learn something new, you must first become empty." This story reminds us of the beauty and the possibility of awakening to each moment afresh, with new eyes, open to new insights, so that we can constantly be growing. This story inspired this song. Wake up, begin again, this is a new day. Open your eyes, the sun has never shone this way. It's never been this day. You sure you've heard it all before, sure you've seen it all before. Been down this path, it's a road I know. It's never been this road before, you've never been just who you are. Just face it, everything's changing, rearranging every day. Wake up, begin again, this is a new day. Open your eyes and say it's never been this day. Sun has never shone this way. And when you look for something new, do you ever look and you turn it sideways, hold it up to your face? Indeed, in every time and place, there's something fresh to touch and taste. Just face it, everything's changing, rearranging every day. Wake up, begin again, this is a new day. Open your eyes, the sun has never shone this way. It's never been this day.
And since we have no kids in the nursery, if our nursery workers would like to stay for the rest of the service, we'd love to have you. Oh, and I remembered to test today, so I can preach without a mask. It's time for our circle of care, and I'm going to begin our Joys and Sorrows portion this morning with a poem by Lynn Unger. Anyone who tells you not to be afraid should have their head examined. Cities are burning, hillsides are burning, and the dumpster fire of our common life is out of control. I wish I could tell you when it was going to get better. I wish I could promise that better was anywhere down the road. I miss dancing, bodies in something between conversation and flight. I miss singing the way we used to, the way we trusted the air that moved between us. I miss the casual assumption that everything will be all right in the morning. These days, I'm trying to be buoyed by the smallest things. A ripe tomato, a smattering of rain. These days, I am trying to remember that songs of lamentation are still songs. I can't wait until we can all sing this together on the 17th when we have our outdoor service. Our reading this morning is What to Remember When Waking by David White. In that first hardly noticed moment in which you wake, coming back to this life from the other more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where everything began, there is a small opening into the new day, which closes the moment you begin to make your plans. What you plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough for the vitality hidden in your sleep. To be human is to become visible while carrying what is hidden as a gift to others. To remember the other world in this world is to live in your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest in this world. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You were invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged. Now, looking through the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the writing desk?
In the soft earth beneath our dry feet, the earth, she moves and moans anew, and we are called to plant our seedlings with sacred deeds of deepening hues. Across the blue sky above our heads, the sun's warm rays come right to us. The wind lifts spirits from our kingdom, and love's sound reaches to newfound heights. Keeps coming forth, rebirthing us from dark places. With rain and misting, they grow taller, and we grow deeper in good graces. As we emerge as siblings of faith, the spring tells us to show we care for one another and our mother, and let it be our solemn prayer.
One of the unexpected blessings of pandemic has been that we have got to hear Olga sing. Not only that, Not only that, but we've gotten to hear Olga be the whole chorus and orchestra. Wasn't that gorgeous? Yes. In his book, Beauty, the Invisible Embrace, John O'Donohue says, "We live between the act of awakening and the act of surrender. Each morning we awaken to the light and the invitation to a new day in the world of time. Each night we surrender to the dark, to be taken to play in the world of dreams where time is no more. At birth, we were awakened and emerged to become visible in the world. At death, we will surrender again to the dark to become invisible. Awakening and surrender. They frame each day and each life. Between them is the journey where anything can happen. The earth is waking from winter as April showers and more hours of sunlight nourish the budding flowers of spring. Faith traditions mark this season with rituals, evocative of the process of emerging from the safety and simplicity of hibernation to the heady, intoxicating whole of life, beckoning us to reemerge from sleep. I've been thinking about all the awakenings in life, all the mornings I've opened my eyes and taken a moment to orient myself. Oh yes, I'm home in my cozy apartment in Marlboro. Oh, my shoulder's a little stiff this morning. The sun's out. The world feels new every morning, because it is. Waking up means noticing that things have changed. The date, the weather, the world. The news industry thrives on keeping us informed of what has happened while we were sleeping. On those days that we can stay in that moment of first waking, before we remember our worries and limiting beliefs, we sometimes notice things we haven't before. We emerge from sleep momentarily unbound and free to reimagine possibilities. That's often the time when I get that big idea that suddenly ties the threads of my sermon together, or a new insight on how to solve a problem that's been bugging me. All kinds of things can wake us up. Big things like pain, or the cry of a newborn, or a clap of thunder. Little things can wake us, like the full moon flooding your bedroom with light, or a partner's sigh, or an unexpected noise. My dad once woke himself up laughing. He dreamed he was dancing with a polar bear. Awakening is such a great metaphor for other times in life when we find ourselves looking at something with new eyes. The realizations can be small. An event, a mentor, a chance encounter. Something happens that changes the way you see ordinary, everyday things. Frederick Buechner, in his book Beyond Words, says, "There are moments of hearing for the first time. You never know what may cause them. Or the sight of the Atlantic Ocean, or a piece of music, or a face you've never seen before. A pair of somebody's old shoes can do it. You never can be sure. But of this you can be sure. Whenever you find tears in your eyes, especially unexpected tears. It's well to pay the closest attention. They're not only telling you something about the secret of who you are, but more often than not, the divine is speaking to you through them of the mystery of where you have come from and is summoning you to where you are to go next. Some awakenings can be totally life-changing. San Francisco historian Yasmin Darznek tells us this story. In 1919, a 17-year-old San Francisco boy fell seriously ill. The second and deadliest wave of the Spanish flu had reached the city. It struck down the young with particular cruelty. This boy had always been a bit different, restless and fidgety, and given to long rambles on Baker Beach and through the Presidio, but now, fevered and nearly skeletal, he developed a phobia, a very severe phobia of germs and people. He was sure that if he stayed in San Francisco, he would die. He begged his parents to let him visit Yosemite, a place he had first visited when he was 14. The doctor advised against it, but the boy was so persistent that his parents eventually relented. A month later, the boy, whose name was Ensler Adams, returned to San Francisco. His cheeks were tanned and his gauntness was gone. For the rest of his life, he credited Yosemite for his recovery. Nature became both his faith and his temple, and photographing it became his life's calling. I'm so grateful that Ansel Adams woke up. His writings were and his pictures were very influential in setting aside public lands and parks in this country. Sometimes our wake-up calls are not welcome. I still get mostly good-natured flack about the mornings I would wake my kids by singing, "Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory." Some of you know how my singing voice can carry. Well, I'd never wake anyone up that way now. At some point, I woke up to the fact that it was really kind of painful to wake up that way, especially for someone who's not a morning person. I've learned over the years that life hands us enough rude awakenings. I don't have to add to that. It feels like we've had enough rude awakenings for a lifetime just in the past couple of years. And yet, even when life kicks me out of bed onto my head, I'm awake. I can't solve any of my problems when I'm asleep. If I'm hungry or cold when I'm sleeping, I have to wake up at least a little to eat or pull up the blanket. I'm not always grateful to be awake, but waking up empowers me to find what I need and what I want and who I really am. Eve Ensler, in her book, In the Body of the World, wrote about her mystical experience while in a hospital bed fighting cancer. What I hadn't anticipated was the tree. I was too weak to think or write or even call someone or watch a movie. All I could do was stare at the tree, which was the only thing in my view. At first it annoyed me and I thought I'd go mad from the boredom. But after the first days and many hours, I began to see the tree. I began to see the tree. On Tuesday, I meditated on its bark. On Friday, the green leaves shimmering in the late afternoon light. For hours, I lost myself, my body, my being, dissolving into tree. All of this was new. I was raised in America. All value lies in the future and the dream in production. There is no present tense in America. There's no value in what is, only in what might be made or exploited from what already exists. Of course, the same was true for me. I had no inherent value without work or effort, without making myself into something significant, without proving my worth. I had no right or reason to be here. Life itself was inconsequential unless it led to something. Unless the tree would be wood, would be house, would be table, what value was there to tree? So to actually lie in my hospital bed and see tree, enter the tree, to find the green life inherent in tree, this was awakening. Each morning I opened my eyes. I could not wait to focus on tree. I would let tree take me. Each day it was different based on the light or the wind or rain. The tree was a tonic and a cure, a guru and a teaching. There was the tree, my tree. Not that I owned it. I had no desire for that, but it had come to be my friend, my point of connection and meditation, my new reason to live. I was not writing or producing or on the phone or making anything happen. I was not contributing much more than my appreciation of tree, my love of green, my commitment to trunk and bark, my celebration of branch, my insane delight over the gentle white May blossoms that were beginning to flower everywhere. May we awaken to the beauty of being, of living, of the breath of life within us. May we know the fierce love and awful grief of living. May we know times of rest and sleep that allow us to recharge and refresh and wake up, ready for a new day. May we awaken to the beauty of possibility within us, among us, and around us. May it be so. This month, as we explore our theme of awakenings, we've chosen the Worcester branch of the statewide initiative called Mass Match as our half-plate recipient. Their on-site expert advocates help people of all ages with all types of disabilities to view and try out assistive technologies designed to offer life-changing results. This half-plate was suggested to us today for this month by Heather Finlay Moriali. Please give generously as you're able as Olga plays our offertory. And now our service comes to an end, and our service in the world begins. I leave you with this blessing by Mary Eads. Like the cosmic dust following after a great Perseid meteor, we are the living remnants of time and all that has come to pass in its wake, briefly shining lights on the way to eternity. We are only visible to the naked eye for an instant. Take this moment to shine like the stardust you are. May the light of our time on earth shine to bless the world and each other. Shine, shine, shine.